I love playing video games, but what I love even more is spending money on them. And the perfect place to do that, in my opinion, are retro gaming conventions. Since I found out these are actually organized in the Netherlands as well, I've been going to a particular one in Zwolle every year. And this year is no exception. So I thought I'd take you along on this little day trip with me and the boys, give you an insight in what Dutch retro gaming conventions are like, and show you everything I've picked up at the end. So let's get going. After a ride on the train, we arrived in Zwolle, and one thing that's already very convenient is the fact that the venue for the convention is right next to the train station, which means you only have to cross a street before entering the event center. The entrance fee is €5, and once you've paid, you are handed a ticket for the lottery later that day, which is a very fun part of this convention in particular. Upon entering, we immediately noticed it was absolutely packed. This might have been the busiest I've ever seen it, and with the venue being not all too big, that does make it a bit difficult to navigate sometimes. There are a couple of different rooms, with the main hall being the biggest, and some smaller rooms with even more vendors where you can pretty much buy everything gaming related. There were bins full of controllers, stupid amounts of consoles, boxes upon boxes of games, and very attractive Wario plushies. Beautiful! Of course, this is the case with every gaming convention, but I always love to see so much gaming media in one place, because it really makes you realize how big of a hobby this is for so many people. But one thing that for me is always half of the fun of these conventions is looking for stuff you almost never see in game stores or online platforms. For instance, I found this quote-unquote portable Commodore computer that is quite rare and went for an astonishing €750. There was also a bunch of amazing gaming related art on display, which looked absolutely incredible. There were awesome console variants, like this Crystal Xbox for example, and I even found a Virtual Boy, which is pretty awesome to see in Europe, considering these didn't even release here. Oh yeah, and I found Gex too. So we found lots of great stuff, and after browsing around for a little longer, it was time for the lottery. The organizers come up on stage to announce the prizes and draw numbers, and if the number on your ticket matches one of the drawn ones, you can win merchandise, gift cards, or even an entire console. And these prizes mean that the crowd here is insane. It really shows the popularity of this convention. Unfortunately, we didn't win anything as per usual, but it was fun nonetheless. Afterwards we did a little more browsing, but we ended the day in what's probably the most exciting room, where a whole bunch of different consoles were set up to be played. Out of which this Atari Jaguar was the biggest surprise for me, considering this isn't a console you see every day. But there also was a GameCube, a Nintendo 64, an NES, a Super Nintendo, and a couple of other ones as well. But we ended with the most amazing game of all time. Pong. So yeah, we had a ton of fun at this edition of Retro GameCon Zwolle, but unfortunately, all good things come to an end. So time to go back home and take a look at everything I picked up. So we've returned from the convention, it's a day later, and now I wanted to go ahead and show you everything I picked up. So the first thing I've got here are these little stands for my handheld consoles. So I have a 2DS and a DSi, but I had no way to really display them nicely. I just kind of sort of propped them up using my chargers. But now I actually have a proper way of displaying these, which is really fun, and these weren't all too expensive at all. So a very cheap solution to that problem. Then next up, my PS2 memory card was full, and I bought a couple of other PlayStation 2 games recently, and I really want to be able to play those, so I picked up another PlayStation 2 memory card. As you can see, it's 64 megabytes, and the original PlayStation 2 memory cards only hold 8 megabytes, so this is a very good upgrade, and I don't think I'll really be buying many more of these, because this should do the job for a very long time. And one of those games that I'm able to play now because of this memory card is Crazy Taxi for the PlayStation 2. I picked this one up for a very solid price. I didn't even pay $5 for it. And I've really been having a lot of fun with some of these Sega arcade classics on the PlayStation 2 and on other consoles. For instance, I have Ghost Squad for the Wii and Beach Spikers for the GameCube, and I've been having a lot of fun with these. And Crazy Taxi is one of those games that I have seen a lot about, and it looked really fun, but I never picked it up for some reason. So I went ahead and bought this one, and I think I'm really going to be enjoying this. And the second game I picked up was Need for Speed Most Wanted for the GameCube. So recently, fellow content creator No More Mercy made a video on this game, which was very good and you should definitely go watch. I'll put a link in the description. He was very positive about this game and he actually recommended it to me as well, because I have never really played any Need for Speed game. I own a few, but I never really got into them. But from what I've seen from his video, this game has a really interesting art style and some very fun gameplay. So I'm definitely looking forward to giving this one a shot. And the last game I picked up was New Play Control Mario Powered Tennis, which is a very fun tennis game that I basically picked up for free because I could combine it with something else. And this is a port of a GameCube game, which is arguably the better one, but even so, I think I might be having a lot of fun with this game when friends are over or when I'm just in a silly mood or something. Because the only Mario Tennis game I've played before this is Mario Tennis Open for the Nintendo 3DS, which is a bit bland, especially compared to the older Mario sports games. And because I've never really gotten into a tennis game, I'm very much looking forward to playing this one. And so finally, the last thing I picked up at the convention was a really good deal, and that is this Nintendo Switch Pro controller. Surprisingly enough, I only had to pay $25 for this, which is not a lot of money considering these go for about $70 new, if I'm not mistaken. I actually got the chance to try this controller out to see if everything worked. The vendor actually had a Switch Lite at his stand, and well, everything seemed to work. So I honestly thought it was too good to be true. But because everything worked, I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna take it because I didn't have a Switch Pro controller. And well, for $25, solid deal. So that was everything I picked up at the Dutch Retro Gaming Convention. If you happen to enjoy this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing because I'm currently working on a very big project that hopefully is going to turn out great. And if you'd like to watch some of my more retro gaming based videos, then this one where I played Sly Cooper for the first time in 2025 is probably going to be right up your alley.